Hello again, and welcome back to another craft kit tutorial. This time we are making our Peppermint Ombre candles. You can pick these up at the Woodmere branch of the library. You can get them right through curbside. So if you would like to try this craft out, give us a call when you are at our curbside lot and we will bring one out to you. These craft kits contain a bag of soy wax pellets, a mason jar, a spoon, a candle with a little sticky at the bottom, a blue crayon, some little tiny itty bitty little dropper of peppermint fragrance oil, some popsicle sticks with a little bit of tape, and 1, 2, 3 paper cups. So, because we don't have enough to go around, I'm actually going to be using a different jar than your jar, but it will work the same. So, the first thing we want to do is open up our jar and then take our candle wick. And actually, I think I'm going to bring you down here with a fancy camera, and then take your wick and stick it to the bottom, centered as we can. Your jars are a little bit shorter than mine, so this will be easier for you guys. But stick it to the bottom of the jar. Alright, then we want to take our popsicle sticks and our tape, and we're using this to hold the wick upright while we're working. So, tear your tape in half, and we're going to take our popsicle sticks and sandwich them between the wick. Now again, yours is a little bit shorter and wider than mine is, so you'll have a little bit more sticking out than I will, but still give you the same general idea. So, a little finagling here. So we're going to want to do that, and then tape on either side just to hold it up while we're pouring. Try to get as close to the wick as you can. It's going to get a little bit tighter of a seal for you, but don't cover the wick up if you can help it. Alright, and then you just kind of balance that on the top of the cup to hold that upright while we're working. Alright, we'll move that out of the way for now. Next thing we need to do is take our wax and split it evenly between these 3 cups. So, this makes our 3 different colored layers. Clean up my space a little bit here. Alright, gonna shake those out, see where we're at. Now, ombre is 3 different shades of the same color. So in this case, we're using blue, nice winter color. Thought it would go good with that peppermint fragrance. But of course, if you wanted to do this again at home, you could use any color you want, or you could even use 3 different colors if you wanted to do it that way. But today, we're gonna stick kind of classic and wintry, just for sake of argument. Okay, so we've got that in there. Next step is to take our crayon and unwrap that from the paper. What I find to be one of the most challenging parts, because I have no fingernails. And this is what we're using to actually color our candle. A little workaround for candle dyes or colored wax chips, which can be kind of expensive, is to just use your crayon, because it is in fact a non-toxic colored wax. So something that's a little more commonplace and easier to find than the expensive candle making supplies, and has a really, really good color payoff. Alright, so we're making this ombre. So we want this one to be the darkest, this one to be a little bit lighter, and this one to be very light blue. So I'm going to take about half of this crayon and then make it in as small of pieces as we can possibly get it. Now, if you have a knife or even a hammer, something you could kind of make that into smaller pieces with, it's going to work better for you, but for us, this will melt. It just may take a little bit longer in the microwave. All right, the next cup, you want about half of the half you have left. We'll call that good. We'll use this piece here. If I can break that in half. I cannot. Okay. And then just a tiny little itty bitty piece for that last one. I'm going to try to break off just a little bit. If I can get a little more than that, it would be good. We'll use the bottom of our jar. See if we can break this. There we go. Look at that. Let's do that to our other pieces too. Alright. Look at that ingenuity. Now make sure you clean that wax off the bottom, of course, because you don't want blue on your candle, but you know, you use what you got, right? Alright. Can try to clean up as we go here. Alright, so I have a little tiny bit of crayon left, but it is up to you how much you want to use and how you want to use it, of course. Alright, so we are going to melt this wax in the microwave, starting with the most densely colored one, so this one. I like to kind of get those crayons buried in there because the crayons don't melt as quickly as that soy wax does. So, my hands are all blue. So I like to kind of bury it and let the heat from the wax do the work. Microwave this in 30-second intervals, stirring in between each 30 seconds. In our work microwaves, which are industrial microwaves, it takes about 1.5 minutes. At my microwave at home, it took 2.5. Your soy wax will melt before your crayons, so keep that in mind. If you get the color you want before all your crayon is melted, you can kind of fish out those extra chunks and put them in an extra cup or a bowl or a paper plate or just right in the trash can. But do keep in mind that it dries quite a bit lighter than the color in the cup. So I'm going to cut and go microwave this, and then we will be back to pour our first layer. And I'm back. We had some very, very blue wax. Put my spoon in my extra cup here. Alright, now we want to try to pour as center in the glass as we can here. You don't want it touching the sides, and if we can help it, we don't want it touching the wick either. So you just want to pour that in nice and slowly, like so. Alright, now this layer needs to set up. So about 20 to 30 minutes or so. That will really set up and be hard. It does not have to be rock hard, of course, because we are going to let it cure overnight, but hard enough that the next layer is going to set. I'm not going to film every layer for you guys because you guys get the idea. So you would go to the next darkest layer. Again, microwave for between 1.5 minutes and 2.5 minutes, depending on your microwave, stirring every 30 seconds. And then pour that next layer and let that set. Oh, I did forget to add that I am not using the fragrance oil because I don't have enough to go around. But in this stage, before you pour it in, would be when you would want to add that fragrance oil. So melt your wax for the 1.5 to 2 minutes, stirring every 30 seconds. Add 2 to 3 drops of the peppermint oil if you would like to add it. And then pour that in and let it set. And then repeat with the other 2 cups. Once that is all dry and good to go, you would just remove the tape and the popsicle sticks securing that, and then you can trim that wick up to whatever length you want. In this particular jar, I wouldn't need to, but in your shorter jars, you would probably want to do that. So I will cut and probably be back tomorrow with a finished, completed candle for you so you guys can see what it looks like. Hello, we're back. It has been a few days and I am back with a completed candle. Now, with this, I have a few notes and recommendations. We're going to go ahead and take this little wick off. I don't need to trim because of the size of this jar, but you will probably need to trim yours down just a little bit. Now, as you can see, the colors aren't too different here. We've got a little bit of difference between the top two layers, but the bottom one, we didn't get quite as much. Now, this is what I think happened. As you can see on the bottom, there's quite dark at the bottom. I think this didn't get mixed quite well enough. So when you're mixing your wax, make sure you really make sure you get all that color involved into that wax base. I've also got a pretty distinctive line between the bottom and the middle layer. This was poured on a Tuesday and this was poured on Saturday. Now these two top layers were poured on the same day and you don't get quite the hard line like you do at the bottom. So I would recommend doing this as close to each other as you can. I think the wax kind of settled and we have a little more definitive line down at the bottom. My other thing I would recommend is you have a crayon at the bottom, mix it really well, but then cut down your amount for the middle quite a bit. Even, I would say even more than just a quarter of the crayon, even a little less than that. And at the top, use literally the smallest piece you can use. I do like the color of the top, but I think it could even be a little bit lighter. I think it would look even a little bit nicer than it does. So, just some things that I learned during the process, because like always, crafting is something that has trial and error. So, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope that this helps you. I hope that my tips and tricks will help you make something that you love. And as always, hope you guys enjoy, and we will see you again for the next tutorial. Have a good day.